from a physical standpoint, obviously, you get out when you need to get out. So physically, you preserve yourself, and from a financial standpoint, make sure that nothing is going to happen, so that you don't end up in like a Tyson situation.
I just feel like a lot of times people always say certain things about Mike Tyson, and I don't like it because no one can never say what they would or what wouldn't do if they was in that situation. God put people in certain situations for certain reasons. You know, I feel like if everybody was wealthy or everybody was rich, this world wouldn't be balanced in the right way. So, you know, Mike Tyson done it his way. Can't no one say what they would have did if they was in his position or in his shoes, or if they had a certain amount of money, what they would have and what they wouldn't have done. I just feel like it's wrong.
Agree, and I'll touch on that. One thing we can say that Floyd Mayweather will retire a very, very, very wealthy young man with.
Well, I'm an old man in boxing, so.
with a lot of money. He will never ever be in a situation, no matter what happened in the past to other fighters. He will be a great example of a young man who had a phenomenal career, who was the best to ever do it, retired, undefeated, with several $100 million in the bank.
And healthy.
Today, a lot of fighters try to retire, but then they get offered big money and they keep going.
Was boxing an avenue you had to take with your father being a fighter and your uncle?
I feel like I can remember. I'm glad I still got a sharp memory. I can remember just going to the gym, going to the boxing gym like it was yesterday, just standing on a chair. And people used to come into the boxing gym just to actually see me when I was a kid. They'd be like, there you go right there, there you go right there. And they's always asked me, get in the chair, let us see you hit the bag. They were always wanted, because the speed bag probably was my favorite punching bag at that particular time. They said, get in the chair, let us see you hit the speed bag. And me a kid, I just like now, I wasn't hitting the speed bag until I wanted to hit the speed bag. So all I want to do is run around the gym, swing the heavy bags, and box the big guys. I want them to get on their knees and I run around them. So I can remember like it was yesterday. And it's just more like basically, if my dad didn't take me to the boxing gym, oh man, I'd cry. I'd cry all day. I wanted to go to the boxing gym every day. I even wanted to go to the boxing gym on Saturday and Sunday, every day. And what I used to do just every day when I came home from school, when I stayed with my grandmother, because she basically raised me, just watch at that particular time it was VHS tapes. So I watched VHS documentary of all fighters. Watched the movie of Joe Louis, and I watch boxing every day. Some fights. Let me see. My favorite two fighters I didn't want to fight was Tommy Hearns and Hagler. Oh man, I love both. I love both fighters, so I didn't want those two guys to fight.
Floyd, speaking on when you go back to Detroit, y'all stopping back out there on the tour. Everything that you just said, does that definitely bring more motivation for you being there in your hometown?
I'm always motivated, self-motivation. I don't need, a crowd of 50,000 to be motivated. I'm going to perform we could be in a boxing gym, and three of us can be in there. I'm going to perform for you guys just like I'm going to perform for 300,000. Because I feel like, that's just embedded in me, to give any and everybody the best.
Yeah. And one more question. When Broner was fighting, you said, Daniel's son and Mr. Miyagi. And Mr. Miyagi was yelling some things at Daniel saw while he was in the ring. Was that some tips that you was giving him?
No, I just said his name. I'll just call his name because he asked me. He had called me and said, Floyd, you gave me your word that you was gonna be here, so I was in Miami actually, in the ocean. Me and my daughter was, swimming in the ocean, going on jet skis, going bike riding. So I was like, man, I said I don't want to let the kid down. So I said, okay. So I had to charter a jet because my plane was in Vegas. So I had to charter a jet and say, you know what, let me get there. So I got there kind of late. My driver is originally from New York, so I'm calling him like, where you at? Where you at? He said, you said you was gonna call me and tell me what time you got here. So I was rushing to get to the fight. It was hell, but I got there.
You got there. Floyd, my question to you is, you've beaten everybody in your generation to solidify your legacy. Now comes a point when you reach that status, you're bigger than the game itself. And you think of boxing, you think of Floyd Mayweather, the average fan. Right now, sitting back when you're laying in bed at night, and say, do you ever think that it was going to be possible from early on? And what does it feel like now?
It's the way y'all always tell. They used to always tell me when I was in a boxing gym. They'd be like, that kid right there gonna be the best fighter someday. Gonna be the best fighter in the world someday. I never knew what they meant. Only thing I wanted to do was just box. I wouldn't, even on my team. If a guy was joking with me when we was on one of my, because I've been on so many different national teams with traveling teams, just like I've been on the team since '87. So I used to be like, I can't wait. Just put him in the ring with me, I'll beat him. So it was never basically, it's always been my ultimate goal and my ultimate dream. Because when I used to lay in the bed, like I said, it was so crazy. I used to lay in the bed at night, and my room got posters all around. I got posters all around my bedroom of all fighters. The fighter that I had right above me was Janero Hernandez, and I used to watch him fight. I used to watch him fight at the Forum. I used to be like, he unbelievable. I said no fighter would never beat him. Never beat him. And then when De La Hoya beat him, I was like, how he beat him? But then to come to find out, Janero Hernandez went into the fight with a broken nose. Because and then when I fought him, I was like, man, this guy crafty. But once I got to that level, I had so much experience myself, because by that time I was boxing Frankie Randall, I was boxing Pernell Whitaker. Boxing those guys had already gave me enough experience. And once I seen myself, this one I knew I was I can handle the pros, because I was beating every pro. At 17, I was beating every pro in my gym. But I was boxing Frankie Randall before he fought Chavez the second time. So, because if nobody knows who Frankie Randall is, he's the first guy to ever beat Julio Cesar Chavez. So I was boxing. He was, we was hanging out. I probably at that I was thinking I met Frankie Randall when I was like 17, 18, and then me and Frankie Randall had got real close. I loved him because he let me stay. I was staying at his house. We was training together. When I first boxed Frankie Randall, I took it easy on him actually. And I think I was 18. I was 18. I boxed Frankie Randall. I took it easy on him, even though I knew I could have got the best of him. But I never wanted to. I didn't want to give him my best because I didn't want to lose my friendship with him. So I was boxing him light, and I can remember when we boxed. I don't know how many times we boxed, but one time, the last time we boxed, I boxed him for real, and I got the best of him. And then most times I box guy, it's no different from when I used to box, Zaire Rahim. He was on my Olympic team. He was my friend, and I didn't want to lose my friendship with him, so I would let the work be even though I knew I could have got the best of him, even though I knew I was a better fighter and I could have got the best of him, but I liked him and I didn't want to lose my friendship with him, because a lot of times I lose my friendship. When I was friends with fighters, I lose friendship when we box each other. Of course, we stop being friends because they start getting mad, or I lose my friendship because one guy get jealous of me, but Nate never get jealous of me. That's been my friend forever. That's one of my trainers, Nate Jones. He's one of the guys. Talk about Nate. He's a key player with a lot of my victories. He's a key player because a lot of the games